Acting President, I am really pleased to rise this morning to add my support and my colleague Gail Broad to the motion number 6 standing in the name of Mrs MacArthur, and I thank her for her comprehensive sections of this motion, but also her very depth and clarity of the need for this inquiry. Now, just as my colleague Mr McCracken has said, this is an investigation to look toward finding the best outcomes for our roads and for our road safety and, above all, Victorians. What is not to be seen to let this go through? This is not anything other than it seems. It is important to look at the raft of particulars in the terms of reference. Now, I've just heard some members of the Labor Party talking about the importance of roads and saying how there's adequate road funding. I have heard some say we could do better, and we could do a lot better here in Victoria. In the past 2 years, there has been a 45% budget cut in road maintenance. 45%, $702.2 million down to $441.6 million. And it is with incredible sadness that we read into Hansard the number of deaths that occur on all Victorian roads to date. And so sadly, we saw the tragedy in the western part of our state on the weekend, and then following that in the Eastern Victoria region around Darnham, another tragic death. And this then brings families to with a life of a hole in their heart and a life living with a limb of their family tree missing. And I know what that means because my cousin died on a regional road. Acting President, it is vital that we protect the safety of Victorians. Now, you only have to drive around my Eastern Victoria region to understand the depths of that. And indeed, finishing off on the tragedy, 58% of the deaths that have occurred on regional roads this year, on Victorian roads this year, have occurred on country roads. 58%. That's 58 country families that are at a loss, and their communities. And it isn't about just lowering the speed limit. That is not the solution. We see it time and time again. I understand lowering the speed limit when there is traffic works being undertaken, but then you see the pothole fill and the sign, the reduced to 80 kilometres an hour sign, is never removed. And I can quote a number of different roads in my electorate. What I'd like to talk to is the importance of the road base and the road maintenance. We know that part of this motion talks about the tender process. Now, I have fantastic road construction companies in Eastern Victoria region who do an outstanding job, but they have to complete a road to the tender. They are often frustrated by the fact that the quality of the substance that's being put down on that road is not what they would like to use. So we need to investigate the structure of road construction and how tender processes occur, and the importance of getting it right so it's done well once and lasts for a long, long time. Now, some of the roads that occur on my Eastern Victoria region, a little while ago we did an investigation into this, and we asked people to explain to us, the Nationals, some of the roads. And the Traralgon-Maffra Road was voted the 4th worst across the state. People came into my office, wrote to me saying that this is a deplorable road. It often is a huge thoroughfare for agricultural equipment, B-doubles transporting our great ag, but also there are many towns along that Traralgon-Maffra Road. Toongabbie Sale Road, Glengarry North Road, Brown Coal Mine Road in Yallourn North, Tyres Walhalla Road, Trafalgar Thorpedale Road. There's a slip there between Trafalgar and Thorpedale that is constantly failing and is constantly putting those communities at risk. There are multiple sections along the Strzelecki Highway. Fish Creek to Wilson's Prom Road, you go to the prom to look at kangaroos and our beautiful wildlife, well, you have to hop on that road to make your way there. Cape Patterson and Montague Road, New Haven and Rill Road, and Cardinia as well. And not lastly, but the Great Alpine Road. I was up there recently. There's been some work done on Namestone Point, and thank goodness, because it was actually quite a safety hazard. There were rocks falling, the engineering wasn't done well previously, there's high rainfall, but it needs to be done properly and well. Again, that's the only road in and out to Omeo from Bairnsdale. But I went, and again, potholes the size of small countries. These are unacceptable. Now, Regional Roads Victoria do the best they can with what they've got. And I thank Beth Lively, a fantastic girl from Yanniki, grew up in Yanniki area. She is doing an outstanding job with what she has got, the budget. Let's talk about bridges. Now, I heard the former member, his contribution just before, and he spoke about what they're doing with bridges. Well, the Andrews government removed Country Roads and Bridges program in 2015. The Andrews government came out with a Building Stronger Bridges program. The Premier came to Tyres to announce a new bridge at Tyres to connect Traralgon to Tyres. The old bridge floods very regularly when we have our floods in central Gippsland. And it was announced 2015. It started last year. It started 7 years later, and it's going to be finished at a push at 2023. Now, if you think one bridge in Gippsland is something to hang your hat on, then you've got another thing coming. A couple of reports that we've seen. The report from March 22, the Infrastructure Australia's Regional Strengths and Infrastructure Gaps, reported an urgent need to invest more into Victoria's neglected and crumbling regional roads. And I could go on and explain that in detail. We do transport. Considerable amount of agriculture, $2 billion in our Gippsland region, go into Melbourne and out into the variety of domestic and international places. We need our roads to be safe for that transport and safe for people to get their children into school and into sport and to work. We need that safety factor. The other investigation that this inquiry could do so very well is to look at a very good board called the Australian Road Research Board. Now, it's funded by multiple Australian states. It's funded by a range of road bodies as well. It does wonderful research, and they're looking at alternative solutions to road surfaces to make them last longer. That's what we need, that durability. They're looking at recycled plastics, glass, reclaimed asphalt, concrete, crumb rubber into the road infrastructure. They're looking at geopolymers and mining waste, bottom ash. Now, I know our Opal has an energy from waste program, and the bottom ash from that, the very stuff that cannot be used in the production of energy and heat, can be inertly inserted into road base to make it more durable. These sorts of things are really important that we investigate and support. We also see Committee for Gippsland. We met with those recently, Martin Cameron and I, and they've got a road infrastructure a plan. Now, none of that was on the government's budget. There was no work for the Druin arterial road network, no pre-planning and business case for the Traralgon bypass, and no work funded for the Leongatha heavy vehicle bypass stage 2, in which we call down there Kamikaze Corner. So there is a huge opportunity to investigate the important work that bodies are doing to continue to insert more durable road base, the way roads are constructed, the importance of increased safety so that our families can get home safely, our product to market, and we won't see this tragic 134 people to date increase anymore. We can get people there where they need to go more safely.